Hey guys, welcome to the AFL official round one betting trend report. In this video, I'm going to go through all 9 games, all 18 teams are in action this week, and go through each matchup, what the odds are, what the odds were last time, and previous matchups when these sides met, and also what the betting trends and results are from their previous matchups, because this is one of the key factors you want to look at when analyzing games to make betting decisions, and you're able to see what the bookies have done since the last time these sides have met to the current matchup, and then weigh that up against your opinion and your thoughts on those teams and how they've progressed since that last meeting. So starting with the Thursday night game, Carlton versus Richmond. And also I'm going to give you my early thoughts on these matchups and then later in the week. So make sure you subscribe so then you're able to get the videos with going through my official bets for these matchups. So Carlton take on Richmond. Carlton $1.40, 16.5 point favorite. Last time they met, Richmond were a 7.5 point favorite for this game. So fairly big turnaround there. Basically a 4-goal swing in the line. And the totals moved down from 176.5 to 164.5. Carlton have covered 3 of the past 4 head-to-head. Richmond covered in round 14 in 2022. This is generally, this matchup, the official season opener. So they haven't played since round 1, 2023, which ended in a draw. Carlton obviously big winners last week against the Brisbane Lions, and Richmond really struggled against the Gold Coast Suns. So I feel like there is strong reasoning for this major line movement, and we're 12 months since the last time they met. But this is the first time Carlton are favorite in this game since round 1, 2017, and Richmond have won 12 of the past 14 head-to-head. So Carlton's only won the 1 game with this draw as well. Definitely think Carlton should be winning this game, and probably will cover that line. It's not like something to get crazy excited about because it is such like a big difference since last time they met, but I would be leaning towards Carlton winning and covering. Collingwood take on Sydney. Collingwood $1.54, 10.5 point favorite. The home team has won the past 5 games in this matchup. Sydney have won their 3 home games. Collingwood have won both of those 2. Collingwood have covered the past 2, and then Sydney covered the 4 games prior to that. Last time they met, Collingwood were a 14.5 point favorite, so that number's moved down slightly to minus 10.5, and that was also at the MCG. So a little bit of line movement there. I feel like a little bit of changes from how these sides have performed in round number 1, because generally when teams win and cover fairly dominantly like Collingwood did here, usually the line will go the other way, but you can see them adjusting it for that round 1 matchup. Another big trend for this game is 9 of the past 11 have gone under the total points line. Last time it was set at 169.5. It's only 166.5 this time. So I believe leaning towards the unders at this stage. Essendon take on Hawthorn. Essendon small favorites, minus 4.5. Last time they met, they were minus 5.5. So virtually the same line. The Bombers have covered the last 3 and 4 of the past 5. They've also won the past 4 against Hawthorn. This matchup is a little bit interesting. Question marks on Darcy Parish for the Bombers. Hawthorn obviously coming into the season with a lot of injuries. So that poses question marks on both of these sides. 9 of the past 11 head-to-head have gone over the total, set at the same number it was in round 1 last season. So I'll be leaning towards the over in this matchup, pending final teams for this game. The Giants take on Melbourne. GWS 47.5 point favorites, only $1.06 on the money line. Last time they met, the Giants were $1.48 and only 13.5. So bookies predicting the gap between these teams have widened. GWS obviously very impressive against Collingwood in round 1. This is North's first game of the season, but we're obviously not expecting all that much improvement. GWS should win the game very comfortably. I rarely ever get into big lines like this, minus 47.5. Kind of in these situations where it's big lines like this, I prefer to back the teams to win by 60 plus or 80 or 100 plus, for them to really capitalize on it, and you get better odds for that if it's going to turn into a real blowout. So I'll just kind of wait and see for this game, but obviously GWS should be winning. 7 of the past 10 head-to-head have gone under the total, and the line's moved up from 173.5 to 174.5 from the last time these sides met. So that's definitely an interesting little thing there, and would push you towards leaning towards the under. GWS did concede 82 points to Collingwood last week, but Collingwood obviously a really good side. Their game did go significantly over. This one, I feel like I wouldn't be leaning strongly towards the under or anything like that. Probably staying away from the total. I don't like games that are expected to be blowouts. Because obviously they can be a lot of soft goals. So, for example, games where there's a big line, teams are expected to win by big margins. Unders in those games, there can be a lot of soft goals. Prefer unders in games that are going to be like tight and close. Geelong take on St Kilda. Geelong 11.5-point favorites, $1.52. Last time they met was at Marvel, where St Kilda were at home and Geelong were a 7.5-point favorite. However, last time they met at GMHBA was in round 21, 2022, and Geelong were 30.5-point favorite for that game. So this number has come down significantly, and that's one thing you want to pay close attention to, especially is what were in teams where they have their own home ground. Obviously, the teams who always play at Marvel and the MCG, but teams who have their own home ground like Geelong, pay attention to what the line was when they last met at that stadium, because certain teams have really good records there, and the line's going to differ dramatically. But interestingly, this number's come down 18 or 19 points from that time. St Kilda have covered 3 of the past 4. This is a game I feel like St Kilda can win. Both teams are fairly strong defensively, but the numbers have me with St Kilda here, so I am leaning towards them. Obviously want the greatest line I possibly can for this matchup, but the Saints have won 2 of the past 3, but not at GMHBA. So that is the concern. I think this is a winnable game for the Saints, but not exactly sure which way I'm going to bet it at this stage. Gold Coast take on Adelaide. The Suns are a 4.5-point favorite, $1.75. Last time they met at the Gold Coast, Adelaide were a 1.5-point favorite. Last time they met at altogether, Adelaide were a 22.5-point favorite. 9 of the past 12 head-to-head have gone over. Definitely be leaning towards the over in this game at 169.5. It's come down from the 174.5 last time, but 9 of the past 12 have gone over. And Gold Coast showed they can put on a score in round number 1, and Adelaide were the number 1 attacking side last year. So definitely going to be playing the over in this game. Home team has covered 7 of the past 8 head-to-head as well. So that's a little interesting trend there for this matchup, pushing you towards the Gold Coast. Melbourne take on the Bulldogs. Melbourne, $1.65, 7.5-point favorites. The past 5 head-to-head have gone over the total, and 12 of the past 16 in this matchup have gone over the total. It's only set at 166.5, down from 170.5 last time. So definitely leaning towards the over for this game. They haven't met since round 1 last season. Bulldogs' first game of the season. Melbourne coming off a disappointing loss to the Swans in the opening game of the year. Generally, one side's been able to put up a fairly big score and win this game comfortably. I'd be leaning towards the Bulldogs to be winning this game, hence why I'm going with the over. I feel like the Bulldogs are a team on the up this season. Melbourne are going to drop off slightly. So slightly leaning towards the Bulldogs as underdogs, but definitely more so leaning towards the over. Another big favorite here, Port Adelaide, $1.06, 47.5-point favorites against West Coast. Port have won 4 of the past 5 here against West Coast. 9 of the past 13 head-to-head have gone under the total, but 3 of the past 5 have gone over. The total's moved down from 179.5 to 175.5. Last time they met in Adelaide, it was 52.5. That's come down to 47.5. Fairly similar to the GWS North Melbourne game. Port Adelaide should be winning. It's just kind of a question how much they win by, but feel like they should be able to cover this spread. And I don't think we're going to see like a massive blowout in round number 1, because obviously West Coast need to be up for this game, trying to make a statement in their opening match, but Port Adelaide should win fairly comfortably. Fremantle take on the Brisbane Lions over in Perth. The Lions are at 11.5 point favorite for this game. Exact same line it was when they met in round 21 over there last season. Fremantle covered that game, but Brisbane won by 3 points. These two sides kind of switched which team has covered from game to game, but the away team has covered 8 of the last 9 head-to-head. That's after the home teams covered the past 3 head-to-head, so a little bit confusing there. But Brisbane have won 7 of the past 9. Suspect Brisbane should be winning this game and winning it fairly comfortably, so be leaning towards them at the minus 11.5. Total is exactly the same as it was last time, which did go under the 166.5. Only about 150 points scored in this game. But this game also nearly went over. It fell half a point short there at 166. Last week, the Lions game was going to sail over against Carlton until the gap closed. The game even right up, and there was hardly any scoring in the final quarter and a half. Otherwise, that game would have gone over. So be leaning towards the over 166 and Brisbane to win the final game of the round. That's a look at the betting trends. We're back previewing the matchups, going through the statistics for all the sides, comparing their how they match up against each other, attack, defense, and in the midfield, and locking in the final bets. So make sure you subscribe, like this video if you want more videos like this, going through the betting trends. Like if this is something you guys enjoy watching, let me know, and I'll be posting my bets for all the games that I'm betting on this week later on. So make sure you keep an eye out for those videos.